Yo, what's up, guys? Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Caster, one of the HCS commentators, analysts, and grassroots content creators, and we have another HCS report where today we're breaking down the open series that went over this weekend, but also talking about some of the roster moves or rumors that may have come with this weekend's tournament as well. As always, make sure you interact with the video in some way, shape, or form. Like, subscribe, comment down below. It helps the algorithm push it to more people that might like this type of content and help them get introduced to competitive Halo. And of course, we're giving away big money in the form of $1 to one lucky subscriber who comments down below. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Space Station Gaming gonna be who starts us off. We're gonna talk about Space Station Gaming going up against Dark Inside. In case you don't know, you've been living under a rock for a little bit. Space Station Gaming made up of two MVPs in the form of Lucid and Stellar, and joining them as two of some of the greatest minds to have touched the game of Halo in Snakebite and Eco. We expected big things coming into this 2025 season. I, in fact, said that they would be in almost every grand finals and be a top 2 team in the league all season long. Since then, although not a bad season so far, but as far as the expectation and the standard that these players have set, the precedent that they have set with their careers before them, it feels like a bit of a slower start here for Space Station Gaming. But as we said before, I'm not going to judge them based on their first tournament. We said they might start off a bit slow, little bit, and comparing them to other teams who start off crazy hot. It's a little tough right now, but we do believe this team can improve, adapt, and let's see how they did in this tournament, which didn't feature the likes of an Optic Gaming or Shopify Rebellion, so it felt like an opportunity for Space Station Gaming to really shine. But on the other side of things, you got Dark Inside, Sylvanic, who made it into pool play back at SLC. Lido and Morgan, they've been teaming together for a little while now, and Kid Nasty, that kid is absolutely nasty. They go up against Space Station Gaming, and although a great squad made it pretty damn far to make it to the quarterfinals, they did end up getting 3-0'd. No real surprise there. Dropping down a little bit, we do have TSM and One. And in case you don't know, TSM, Talik, Druk, and Soul Snipe recently dropping Cherished from that roster, and they filled in with Mortally. They actually said right off the rip, right on their Twitter, that Mortally was going to be filling in as their fourth. And although we don't know who their fourth is officially, there's been rumors going on in the Twitch chat said that it's going to be Manny coming back to this roster, and they're going to be forming that season 1 Talik, Druk, Soul Snipe, and Mandy. If you remember back in Native Red, back in they went by Fung 4. They've gone by numerous different names, but it sounds like Mandy's going to be joining them, and he's going to be recovering from surgery to start off, because apparently he's been having issues with his tonsils. So good luck with Mandy. I guess not formally, but what on Cloud9, and rumored to be leaving that Cloud9 roster, which is kind of surprising considering Cloud9 were fantastic at Arlington. Not sure why they would even want to make a change whatsoever. But on the other side of but again, it's just a rumor. On the other side of things, you have Cherished, again, the former member of TSM, Advocacy, who was on that Luminosity Gaming roster alongside Mortally. They had the 5th seed going into Arlington, but ended up top 16, not winning a single series in pool play. And then Collect, I'm sorry, Jackson also part of Luminosity, by the way. And then Collect, who was a part of that infamous roster. And you're wondering why some of these players aren't playing with each other. There's rumors that Infamous aren't going to be teaming together as well, because a lot of the Infamous players were playing this tournament, just not together. There's, again, just rumors, but it has been going around. This one roster was able to push TSM to a Game 5. Really exciting there. But they weren't able to get the win. Would have been kind of crazy to see Cherish take down his former team in the winners bracket, but we'll see if that if that ends up happening. Meanwhile, TSM moved forward to play against Space Station Gaming. We'll scroll down just a little bit where we have Pickup Squad and Incognito. So again, talking about, you know, what was it? Collect, who was on the one pickup squad. Now we have Incognito here with Descendant and Ezzo. Well, Descendant and Ezzo also teamed with Collect and Lethal. So literally the entirety of that Incognito roster played in this tournament. They just played on different teams. Descendant Ezzo joining Piggy from that Luminosity Gaming roster, and King J coming in, making up this Incognito roster. On the other side of things, you have Lethal going up against his former duo that he went into Arlington with, alongside Septify, Boo Boo Doo, and Suppressed. What makes this roster really interesting, because again, there's all rumors going around that this is going to be the Cloud9 roster, except Sab instead of Suppressed, because we know Suppressed has been playing with Suppressed have been playing with FaZe, and they were fantastic. I don't see a world where FaZe end up breaking up, but apparently that rumored Cloud9 roster, after Manny is leaving and going to TSM, again rumors, is supposed to be Boo Boo Doo, Suppressed, I'm sorry, Boo Boo Doo, Lethal, Septify, and then Sab coming in as that 4th place spot. Again, it's just rumors, but it's funny how the entirety of that infamous roster played in this tournament, but on separate teams. And the same for Luminosity as well. We knew there's gonna be a lot of changes made around that direction, and a bit of a roster mania coming in. We'll make another video to kind of organize some of this a little bit, but interesting to see. But Pickup Squad end up coming with a 3-1 over Incognito. They're going to be moving forward into that semifinals. And I really like this Incognito. I like both squads, but I really like this Incognito roster as well. We already knew Pickup Squad is going to be amazing. If they end up going in as Cloud9 and Sab joining, that's going to be an awesome roster. I'm going to be rooting for them. We know they're going to do great things. But there's some potential here with Incognito. Watch out for them. Go to next matchup. Next matchup we got to talk about is Gen G and Complexity. These two teams matched up in Arlington, and man, was it crazy. You have Spartan and Raidu right off the rip. You already know there's going to be a bit of drama and a bit of bad blood whenever we mention those two players. But then Breaking Shot, don't forget, he was dropped from Complexity, and he was picked up by this Gen G roster. So when Breaking Shot and Gen G came out with the win in Arlington, they stood up. They got loud. The passion was crazy to watch. And Gen G was looking absolutely phenomenal in that matchup. And they also look phenomenal again against this Complexity roster. 3-1, which I'm going to be honest with you, with the way things have been going from Complexity, from the moment 2025 started, I'm actually surprised they weren't a part of the Rostermania moves. Like, 2025 has not been kind to Complexity whatsoever. They started early. I was excited about this squad. Like, we talked about Complexity as a team that should be competing with the likes of FaZe for those top 4 spots, that should be pressuring or putting pressure on the top 3 teams in the world. And so far we just haven't seen that Complexity. We saw them in top 12 3 out of the 4 opens and qualifiers. Arlington wasn't really kind to them, losing against a Gen G, which is not a bad squad whatsoever. I feel like there's a lot that when we look at the likes of all of these players on this roster, there's so much expectations that we have, and they just haven't seemed to hit their stride. So it is still early within the season, but like I said, I'm a little surprised they haven't participated in the Rostermania, but also maybe give a little bit of respect for them and say, hey, look, we're not going to just quit on this. We have something special here. We just have to kind of hit that. We just got to hit our stride. Gen G will beat them out and advance forward. Complexity down to the lower bracket. We'll see how things go for them down there. Meanwhile, winners bracket semifinals, we see SSG coming out with the 3-0 over TSM to advance to the winners bracket finals. I love TSM. You guys know that. But they have a fill-in coming in. They've been having their own up and down season. Again, 2025 hasn't been very kind to TSM either. So we'll see exactly what happens there. Also on LAN, it was a bit disappointing for them. So no real surprise SSG move forward. Would like to see TSM take a game off of them, but that's just me being a little bit picky there. Where on the bottom side of things, you see Gen G with the 3-1 over Pickup Squad. That's a good win for Gen G. I think at this point we definitely have a higher expectation for Gen G than we do even TSM, I would say right now. I feel like Gen G really showed what they had in Arlington. Really excited to see what else they could produce. But beating Pickup Squad, there's a good win. There's a good win for them. Winners bracket finals, they take them. Dude, Gen G takes Space Station Gaming to a game 5. Impressive right there. But SSG do make it to the grand finals over Gen G, which I don't know if many people would say they're surprised. If anything, I think a lot of people probably would have said they would like to see SSG like 3-1 this team, maybe 3-0 this team. When we talk about Space Station Gaming, top 2, top 3, top 4 team in the league, and going into this season, expectations of making multiple grand finals was the expectation. So I would have actually liked to see a 3-0 or 3-1. Again, I could be nitpicky, but you know, whatever. It's me. Shut up. You know how I do. Go down to the lower bracket a little bit, see where we'll end up. Lower bracket. Yeah, might as well start here. One beating up the Ascending Baseline roster. Ascending Baseline, interesting one, but they lost out in Dark Matter, who stepped away from Halo competitive to pursue in real life. You know, I guess important stuff in real life. With losing out the Dark Matter, they already had Suspector signed as a content creator. So Suspector slides in and fills in that 4th role for Ascend Baseline, which is kind of huge for them, considering, like, obviously Uzi and Zuzi have been there, done that players, but maybe they need a player like Suspector and what Hative has brought to the roster as well to get them over the hump. Maybe with this roster, they'll be able to make it out of open bracket. It could be huge for them, but one do come out with a 3-1 over them. Incognito and Complexity go at it, and Incognito with not only a win but a 3-0 over Complexity. I said Complexity were struggling, and it seems to continue. This is a winnable matchup for them, and this is me not saying anything about Incognito. I just told you in the winners bracket that I saw real potential in this roster, but you can't be getting 3-0'd in a series like this. Complexity needs to come out. They need to put up a fight. If you're going to lose a matchup against Incognito, it has to be in a game 5. Something has to either change or be figured out for Complexity. After that, we see one with the 3-0 over Pickup Squad. Again, that's a big win. That's a huge win right there. Not only a win, but a 3-0. And for a team that's kind of rumored to be that Cloud9 roster, again, with Sam coming in instead of Suppressed, you got to sit here and put some respect on their names. Big win for one. What do we got? TSM with the 3-1 over Incognito. I feel like I'll say that I'm a little bit surprised, even though I feel like I shouldn't be surprised at all. The names on that TSM roster have literally gotten 3rd place at Worlds. You know, like I shouldn't be surprised. But again, with the up and down season that TSM has had, I am a little bit surprised. TSM with a 3-1, a fairly decisive win over them, and that's where one would come out with a huge win over TSM. And you gotta think, Cherish gets dropped from that roster, ends up with this Pickup Squad, or maybe it's something real. Maybe they actually do great things together. I have no idea, but being dropped from a roster and being able to beat them must be huge. I do want to premise that with saying that TSM were playing with a sub in Mortally, but do you guys know how good Mortally is? Come on now, like, he's nasty at the damn video game. Big win coming for one, and maybe this is the start of something beautiful for them. Meanwhile, I believe in the losers bracket finals, Gen G requested that. I believe Gen G couldn't. So from what I understand, I apologize. It was around. I want to say it was around maybe like 5 o'clock, and they couldn't play right away, and they would have needed maybe 40 minutes or 30 minutes of extra time. I think Ryan was requesting it. He's a dad now, so that's, again, in real life responsibilities come in. You got to respect that. And I think they were forced to forfeit because of that. They weren't able to get the full 30 to 45 minutes of wait time that they needed, so they were forced to forfeit. I was excited to watch this matchup, but because of that, one ends up going into the grand finals without even being tested whatsoever, at least in the losers bracket finals, where they go and push Space Station Gaming to a game 5, which is huge in that grand finals. But Space Station Gaming come out your champions, the heavy favorites coming into this tournament, and maybe not the exact way that they would have wanted to win it, or even maybe the public as well. Like I sat here and said, I said, when it comes to this tournament right here for Space Station Gaming, this was an opportunity for them to just right the ship, get back in and kind of dominate. But as we've seen multiple times, they were tested. Even in the grand finals, they were tested by that one roster. We almost saw a bracket reset. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you get it done. Sometimes the journey doesn't matter if you hit that destination, and SSG hit it. And they are your champions during the Open Series. And usually a tournament answers a lot of questions for us, but I feel like this tournament brought up so many questions. Luminosity, are they officially done for? What happens as far as the roster? Who does the org end up following? Is that Cloud9 roster real? Is Mandy going to TSM? Like, so many questions have been brought up because of this tournament, because you can sit here and say maybe it's a bunch of pickup squads and players just wanted to play in a fun FACEIT tournament for a weekend. But as you guys always know, when I say where there's smoke, there's fire, and nobody's wasting their time. It's the most important commodity that you have. But yeah, that is your HCS report. Make sure you guys interact with the video, push that algorithm to more people that might like competitive Halo, might want to get introduced a good way. Watching these videos are a good way to get introduced to competitive Halo. And don't forget, we're giving out big money, $1 to one lucky subscriber that comments down below. And until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.